Yeah, Twitch and YouTube are offline at the moment. Oh, here we go. YouTube is going up.
There you go. There we go. Nice work.
Yeah, but
so it's that simple of just tagging a bunch of stuff a certain way and then making it go up. Shouldn't we just say tomorrow?
As stated, I don't know. I can't give you ETAs that are proper. Quit complaining about my damn work field.
You're gonna have to tell me where that is because I've never streamed on Discord before.
Yeah, this shit broke. It was a surprise. I spent the last 3 to 4 days fucking working on it nonstop.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this month's Cavemanon Smoke Signal stream. We're here with news for upcoming projects, Exit 665 and I Want to Hug That Gator. We have a lot of news to go over today, and I am joined by uh, a lot of the normal people, and once again, we are joined by our lead programmer. If they'd all like to go ahead and introduce themselves for a bit.
Hello, I'm Sly, the lead writer of Cavemanon. Got lots of story-related stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, lots of story related stuff. I'm working on. I'm the lead writer of I Want to Hug the Gator.
I'm Heartsick. I'm still an artist.
And I'm Michael. I'm the programmer for Exit and the guy who manages a lot of the web stuff for Cavemanon generally.
And I am the lead developer, Nerd. So to get started, we could do it. We should get right into the issues that we are having with a lot of our uh, web development stuff. The Buru is currently down, and we're currently working to fix it. Uh, and Michael is able to talk about what is going to be changing, what we are working towards, and other details like that.
Okay. Sorry about the Buru being down. It's been a nightmare, but our old software has finally kicked the bucket. I know you guys have been putting up with instability with it for ages now, and I've been fixing it for ages. So we're finally doing away with it, and that's why the downtime's been a lot longer recently. We're moving to a different piece of software called Shimmy 2. Maybe some of you have heard of it or interacted with it. It's sort of similar to Dan Buru. It's pretty lightweight, a lot more maintainable, and overall should be a better experience. The UI is going to be different, but I don't think it's going to be an unwelcome change. It might integrate better with some Buru software, and most importantly, it's not going to be a trash fire like Suzuburu was. Right now, the only big issues are importing all the old data to the new stuff. We got most of it. The images are safe. Most of the tags are safe. However, there are a couple tagging issues. Some stuff got swapped out. Like, I'm pretty sure the tag for something being a colored image was transformed into Yu-Gi-Oh! So I had to go and fix that, and that was a mess. But I'm wrapping that up, and there'll probably be some tagging issues. You guys will notice that. I'm aiming to go and get that stuff out and fixed today. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. I'm aiming as soon as possible, but as soon as it goes up, account creation will be enabled. You guys can go in and clean up the mess, sort of say. We'll also probably be getting backups of the Buru as well, just for more data security. So you guys will never lose your snoots. And I guess we'll also extend it to exit stuff more as well. So that's basically it.
Yes, generally Cavemanon themed. All right, thank you for that update here. You're getting a bit of technical difficulties. So we have. Okay. Working on. Would you like to get started on your what you have prepared today?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So for today's Smoke Signal stream, the writers are going to take kind of a front seat. We're going to be driving a lot of the discussion. One thing that we've wanted to address for some time, and we finally decided to do it now, was we wanted to give a little more fleshing out kind of the characters. We're going to do this in kind of chunks. We're going to address not necessarily some concerns that people have, but we're going to kind of talk about some characters that people were interested in today. And then next month, we're going to talk about an additional batch. And then if need be, the next month after that, we're going to talk about another section or another collection. So today we're kind of do a little bit of a deep dive into three of the main characters for I Want to Hug That Gator: Inco, Olivia, and their teacher, Mr. Adicon. So to facilitate this, our artist kind of mocked up some pseudo kind of like character bio yearbook page type of interviews, and these are a good little kind of dive into the characterization of each of these characters and kind of like what you can pull out a lot of like salient character points here. So first off, like I said, we've got Inco. As a new student just arriving in St. Hammond High, he's kind of got a lot of stuff to prove. Of course, he's going to be the protagonist and the player character for I Want to Hug That Gator. He'll be stepping into his very human shaped shoes, and kind of navigating through the game, making choices based on his perceptions of the other characters and things like that. That's not to say that he's a completely hollow character. There is some background and there is some interpretations that he as a character will be making. You know, you're not necessarily self-inserting. You're going to be kind of steering this character. So I've been told the slides aren't working, which I
Oh,
don't know why. Oh,
there we go.
it was working. I just saw that. Yeah, is it still working?
Sorry about that. A little bit of a goof.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not working. Hopefully it is now. It looks like it is. Apologies for that. So, like I was saying, you're not necessarily expecting to self-insert entirely with these characters. Excuse me, with this character, Inco. He has his own characterization. He has his own story to tell, and the point of Wani is to watch as this story unfolds based on the choices that you make and how you interact with the characters in the game. Some salient points about Inco that I spoke of before is like things to prove. He's definitely a character that has um, he sees his potential ahead of him. He maybe it's kind of stepping into that uncertainty when you move to a new school, especially a school that's filled with a bunch of dino students and you're the one human. So there's some unfamiliarity as well as just kind of like not necessarily being entirely sure of oneself. We wanted to capture that feeling with Inco where you're stepping into the shoes of somebody who maybe doesn't necessarily know who they are as well entirely. Which is part of the fun. Part of the fun of Wani is exploring these characters and seeing how they develop and how they get to know themselves in addition to how you get to know them as a player. So it's going to be some interesting things that we can do narratively with Inco. I'm definitely excited to kind of show that stuff off.
Yeah, so when it comes to Inco, some in a similar vein to Anon, you would you could see him maybe as a blank slate. Really, it's he is a character and entering a new space for the first time, and what you decide on, like what you choose for Inco, will change how he develops throughout the story. So, as you can see here, got his goofy little smile, like uncertainty, trying to be like trying to be professional, but being a goof that he is. He's in terms of Inco's place in the story, like he is probably one of the ones that will have the most noticeable changes compared to some other characters. Like in all the endings, there, like you will be able to tell that this he's grown in some way or another.
Yes, yes. So Caveman's previous work also had a branching narrative. Obviously, the choices you made impacted what ending you were going to get. Wani is going to do the same thing. We're going to have a series of choices you make throughout the game, and this is going to influence which of the endings you're going to receive. As Sly mentioned, the choices and their impact on Inco specifically are very radical. In the previous work, I would say it's kind of a narrower scope, whereas the Inco you get in ending one for Wani is vastly different than the Inco you get in ending four. It's going to be it's going to be an interesting kind of way to tackle that. I think part of that is just from Inco's character and in and of itself, not having that really strong definition that he can find. Um, he's more maybe swayed by those decisions that you make throughout the game. So you have almost more impact on him than any other character as you're playing through. So hopefully that's exciting. Hopefully seeing a main character shift so radically is going to be rewarding. Hopefully it's going to impact additional playthroughs you can do to experience the four endings. And it should be a good time.
I think we should move on to our next slide then.
Yeah, we can go ahead and move on to the next slide. Hopefully. Okay, so the next character that we wanted to highlight is a teacher. So maybe a little bit of a what's the word? Maybe a little bit of a different kind of like angle than what the previous Snoo game, the previous game, kind of did. So Idacon, or Mr. Idacon, he has a very unique role in the story as both a teacher. You know, obviously he occupies that kind of like mentorship role, as a teacher should. You know, if they're worth their salt. But he is also a character, so it's not just kind of the how they worked in Snoot Game, where they'd be little cameos, and then you never see him again until the bonus chapter. Idacon is going to have a much more involved role in the story. Obviously, as a character, or excuse me, as a teacher at St. Hammond, he's been there for a while, and other characters besides Inco are going to have different relationships with him than Inco is going to develop because they've had him multiple years. You know, we're entering into these characters' senior year, their kind of accumulation of all they've worked towards in high school. So it's going to be interesting to see how Idacon navigates that in terms of both a teacher and as maybe as a friend. It's going to be interesting to see how the students under his care navigate that and see kind of what they have gotten out of his tutelage.
Yes, as a teacher, like I love his presentation of like this bombastic mentor, like a little bit over the top in his own presentation, but he he's deeply caring as the tenured faculty with all his students. Like it's for the characters themselves, the like they'll look to Iadicon, and at, Iadicon himself will undergo some changes throughout the story as he's interacting with Inco, Olivia, and the rest of the student cast, and even some of the faculty cast.
Yeah, so one thing that Snoot Game did was that the teachers were often just parodies. They were played for laughs and jokes, fun references, things you could point to and say, I understood that reference. Idacon is definitely, he is outside that mold. He is his own thing. Although he is, the astute viewer may understand what he is in reference to in kind of this pose here. Hardstick did a great job with the CG, and Mono, one of our other artists, did a great job with Inco CG in the previous slide. But we wanted to kind of step away from just having only reference characters as the teachers. We wanted to do something a little more complex with the teachers and just the faculty as well. Kind of expand the cast of players from just students to other people in other roles. So that's led to some interesting narrative things. Hopefully, it'll lead to some interesting choices as well in the game, some satisfying conclusions to some storylines we're building up. So it's definitely an exciting kind of new direction.
That is an interesting idea, Hammer. I didn't really think about that angle with him, but I can kind of see that now. God. Oh God, don't want to think about that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, Yadicon, like his role in the story, I'm enjoying like seeing his hand or like his part in the character's developments. Like again, an on hands mentor figure compared to what we had with Spears and his more like single like what Spears said was powerful, but he didn't stick around in the story enough. Compared to that, Yadakon has a far more engaging role so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Idacon, his development is influenced both by Spears from this new game. It's been all sorts of kind of like interesting things of how you can present a mentor, and what does that mean? A mentor doesn't mean the same thing to every character. It means different things to Inco, different things to Olivia, different things to Ben, to Mia, Damien, all of the whole cast. So should be fun to explore those different viewpoints. The other thing on the slide that I want to really quickly point out, and people probably have noticed this, is the watermark that's been on these pages. Is the St. Hammond kind of logo. Our artist did a great job kind of collaborating and producing this, and I think it looks pretty. They did a pretty bang up job. You'll of course be seeing this throughout the game. Hopefully we can get this on some media that we can tweet out maybe later. I think it would be a cool thing to get a high res of this kind of logo for St. Hammond. So I think with that we can move on to our last character that we're going to be talking about today. Again, fingers crossed. Hopefully this PowerPoint doesn't come and bite me.
There we
so
go.
Of course, this is the other lead to the game. The Fang to Inco's Anon. This is of course Olivia. I'd like to kind of shout out one of our new artists who's been working with us. They've been doing a fantastic job. They were the one who produced this beautiful piece for Olivia. And then, of course, just want to shout out all our artists who helped contribute to getting this character sheet out. Everybody did a great job. So I think this character sheet is very telling of Olivia's character. The unfinished assignment of it, the just the nature of the paper speaks volumes to her character. Not somebody who puts a great stock into every school assignment. Somebody who is definitely dealing with their own issues, just like everybody in the cast, but maybe hers are a little more poignant, maybe a little more significant. Obviously, as the second lead, to go along with Inco, and of course as one of the love interests. Of course, I say one of. I maybe shouldn't say that. As the love interest, she obviously gets her share of the spotlight. Her path is definitely one that I think I'm most looking forward to exploring and having kind of showing off that in the game. Of course, we made a cognizant decision here to not show her in a wheelchair. Obviously, a lot of the promotional material, it is a part of who Olivia is as a character, as a young girl, as a human dino. As a dino. You can't just ignore that. But this art piece, which is presented from the point of view of how the characters are drawing themselves or taking pictures, self-portraits of themselves, Olivia makes the choice to not include this in the piece. And then that's telling of her characterization in the game. Obviously, the role of her disability plays a big portion in the narrative, and exploring that aspect of her character is very fundamental to her character. But we made kind of the decision to have her in a wheelchair was not something that we took lightly. It's not something that we just played off for laughs. It's not going to be a gag. It's not something that we're not taking seriously. We wanted to kind of emphasize that in this little short dive of her character.
In terms of Olivia's characterization, as well as with the wheelchair, we're very conscious of like how that would play into her character. We've taken a lot of like careful time to write Olivia as a character who, while the wheelchair is a massive part of, there's more to it with her own psychology than the wheelchair itself. there's a lot to Olivia that you really have to dig into as you're reading the story, and depending on the choices, that also affects Olivia's own development and her own views about herself.
Yeah, I spoke earlier about the fact that the Inco in each of the endings is radically different. The Olivia in each of the endings is obviously also radically different, but maybe not to the extent that Inco is. Olivia and kind of the choices you make that affect her, it's definitely it can be definitely be a heart wrenching kind of story in some of the endings, but maybe not in the way that people think. Obviously, in Snoot Game, everybody is familiar with the endings of Snoot Game, and they know what happens. I'd like to. I think I can say that in the endings of Wani, there's a similar thing that's going to happen, but the worst ending may not be the one that you expect.
Ooh, okay, that's actually a genuinely good question you have there. Like, have we actually talked with any paraplegics to gain insight on their lives?
So I think as a writer, I mean, it's obviously something that you want to be very careful in presenting, because as somebody who has the use of both my legs, I cannot write a character like Olivia who does have a disability anywhere near the with the level of expertise that somebody who has a disability can. So what do we do? What do you do as a writer where you can't draw from your own personal experience? You have to go on the outside sources. And I think
Exactly.
we've done that. I think as a development team as a whole, we've definitely done our due diligence to kind of like reach out and get salient stories from individuals who kind of can speak to that struggle. Um, it's not something that, again, like I said, it's not a joke. It's not something we take lightly. You can laugh about it, but it's not something that at the end of the day is humor, right? Maybe that was a bit of a long-winded way to explain that question when I could have just said yes, we have, but
Sometimes you have to be long-winded at times, but yes,
yes.
research is a core part of writing. God, the amount of research we've done for a lot of things has been it's anyway. Yeah. Oh, and I see someone's noticed that the brewer's up right now.
Yeah,
The
well,
brew is
that's
up right now in read-only mode.
May I interject for a moment, or do you?
Please do.
Okay, yeah, I'm just currently testing some stuff out. The new domain, I'm probably going to go and move it to buru.cavemanon.xyz. So once it's there and it's publicly available and everyone can log in and create accounts for it, you should be fine. For now, you can only look at it. It's only going to be pretty and lookable. So
Yeah, he doesn't want you to touch it. It's
No,
his.
he controls the buru.
Okay.
Let's see. Jibble. Oh,
So yeah, everything's going. We have everything under control. Very intentional. Brew is up in read-only mode.
that's cool to. I think Sly was going to say this as well, but Jibblewolf, that's cool to see. Obviously, fans of GVH, um, fans of Wani, there's no reason we can't get along. We're all united in our love of Scalies, so Sly, I guess do you want to have any more comments on Olivia?
well, Chirnik is still trying to figure out Eoticon's reference pose. Uh, I want to leave him to stew on that for a little bit.
Yeah, we can't give away the farm.
But uh, hmm.
I did want to highlight kind of Olivia's little chicken scratch scribbles that she's done down there. A few of you may recognize a particular fan favorite character off to the right there, with his signature weapon, but some of the more elderly among us may recognize the other two characters there. So shout outs to to the old boomers on our development team who made that possible.
Yeah, I do love the fact that we have a character that we can just make doodles all we want and can put them in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting kind of exploring. So obviously Snoot Game was largely about music. It was a fundamental portion for one of the main characters. It was part of her life. And I think art and kind of artistic expression through visual media is a large part of Olivia's life and kind of the story in Wani. Um, what do you how do you express yourself through music is different than how you express yourself through art or drawing or pictures um, on a canvas or on a piece of paper. And I feel like we kind of play around in that space a little bit. So that's certainly been interesting and been kind of a rewarding thing to do to write for.
Yeah, especially with when we get into the more photography stuff, which I can for about that for hours on hours.
Yes. Sly has really brought a level of photography knowledge that I find both impressive and shocking at the same time.
But I think for now, this does cover the three characters we wanted to talk about for this stream.
Yeah, we can go ahead and move on. I know the exit crowd has a lot of stuff that they want to talk about as well, so I won't take much more time with Wani. Once again, I just want to kind of thank everybody for being here to listen to us ramble on about these characters. We've put a lot of effort into kind of bringing these characters to life, and although we can't show it to you yet, hopefully this gives a little more information about them, kind of tides you over a little bit. Um, Obviously, we're still angling for that Q4 release date of this year. We're going to work really hard to make that happen. We're going to sacrifice our own flesh and blood if possible, maybe that of a junior member of the development team. But yeah, hopefully everybody's looking forward to it. Obviously, wish list it on Steam. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on all our social medias. Obviously, your involvement is really helpful for us. So thank you.
It's one thing I'm excited dropping. I'm excited for all our games dropping.
All right, bear with us here while we go ahead and switch to the other presenter for today. I'm playing Jeopardy music in my head.
As am I.
Yeah, is it?
There we go. I think it should be coming up shortly.
Jammer guy, is it working? Are we once again
Clearly,
facing
we're
technical
very good at the
difficulties?
technical. We're very good at the technicals.
Wait for it. Hold.
We're holding for all she's got, sir.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
All right, excellent. So, as for the exit side of things, uh, we are around the time where we are able to say, Lyra Bros, you are going home. We are making a short visual novel along the same lines as our other games. She's a bit sluggish, and she likes you a lot, titled A Star in Her Eyes, and it's going to be featuring Lyra as the main love interest. It's going to be another short game around the same length, 20 to 30 minutes. 3 endings, relatively standard as far as these have been going so far. Building up momentum. So we have some very excellent sketches going on up there. Is there any comments you want to make real fast, Sly?
Let's see, Lyra. lots and lots and lots to talk about here, but I want people to play the game first and try and guess her character from that.
All right.
Like I say,
Mhm.
it's right on the horizon with when we drop this, so
Yeah, progress is going smoothly. Music is coming along fantastic as well. Definitely going to be one of the highlights.
one of the many highlights.
True.
Just look at her. She looks fantastic.
She is, in
Absolutely.
fact, cute.
I love Space Girl. Great.
So these are, after this one, not to get too ahead of myself, but the idea with these is to provide some passive content while the demo gets finished, since uh, making an RPG, making any other sort of genre game that isn't a visual novel after a visual novel, uh, it almost goes without saying that it's a good deal more effort involved. With a visual novel, you have your assets and you put them together in the right way, and it works. And there's a whole lot more going into making this function. So we're having that keeping that in mind, and thinking, okay, it's probably going to take a good deal more time. So we're releasing these passively at certain milestones of development to give players something to see in the meantime, and little bits of content. So after Library, we currently plan on making one for Doom next, and then after that, we're going to be making one featuring the main shopkeeper in the game, Tulip.
I can see someone's already excited for that one in particular.
Very true. Is there an ETA for the demo? Also, how is playtesting and balancing going? ETA for the demo. I'm not going to say that this is a time limit to give ourselves, but I imagine my own estimate. It's probably going to be ready around the same time that Wani will be releasing. In which case, if it's too close, then we'll just hold off and wait and polish it up a little more, so we don't have two releases too close to each other. As for playtesting and balancing, we will be. Those are going fine. We should I, Michael? Should I mention the thing now?
Which thing? There's a lot of things. Save chat.
That thing.
Hmm. I'm going to talk a little bit, I guess, to go and get people in the idea of what's currently been the focus on exit programming side.
All right.
So, right now, the Buru kind of hit me off the tracks. I was going to get the battle system into a very clean and nice and presentable state. Right now, it's not. All the foundation's there, but man, I don't think I'd feel comfortable showing it to our guests, our lovely people in chat, because right now it's very ugly. But all the programming stuff in there should be there to allow us to set up things that look nice. That's what this week was going to be, and then the Buru decided to kamikaze and take us a little off track. But we're hopefully going to get back on track very soon, and we might see something a bit cooler. And hey, maybe no promises. We might see a bit of playtesting going out to those guys who donated. No promises, but when it's done, it's done, and when it's done, we want it to be good. Let's say that.
All right. On that note, when that does happen, when we are sending out messages for playtesters, we will be using our email. So when you will be emailing everyone that is eligible for playtesting. So please, you keep keep an eye out for that. That may be in the coming months, and maybe in the coming weeks, however long it takes. And I would also please keep a track of your Indiegogo ID. When you donate, it gives you a special ID that you can use, and we can use to verify that you are who you are. And that's what you're going to need when that happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Playtesting soon-ish. We are getting there. Very exciting.
Yep, slow rolling, but it's going fine. Our programmers have been out sick for the last bit, and then the Booveroo crashed. It's but still going. I've been working a little bit over what I should, but it's happening.
Not
A
my
lot of
fault.
people are getting sick recently.
Yeah,
Not
stop
my
getting
fault.
sick.
But should we move on to some of the stuff I did last weekend?
Is that something we should be talking about on stream? I figured that we would be posting about that afterwards.
I guess.
I'd save it till after.
Okay.
Maybe mention it a little. Give some hints.
Right. Well, I'm sure some of you have seen us. One of our members already post about it. Made a lovely little 30-second video. Has to do with that. I'll just leave it at that.
That's really amazing content, Sly.
Oh, come on. I can't judge how vague I have to be when it comes to this stuff.
Okay, we'll have to give him a bit more than that then. Sly had gone out and met up with a few other devs, and they went to a convention together and got a lot of interesting. They went with a certain project in mind, a side goal, if you will, and they achieved it. And we will be posting about this goal that we achieved uh, shortly in the coming days.
Yeah, that works. Also, yes, aesthetic man. That's on screen. Would you like
This
to
man up here is Clodius. He will be the protagonist of the game, and he is just a Roman statue guy. Pretty simple, pretty cool. He's been fun to write so far. He's definitely a lot different from our other protagonists so far.
to an extreme degree at times? Yeah.
Mhm. I am inclined to say, for the sake of our musician, no, this has nothing. He has nothing to do with Macintosh.
Uncle Fruit, we did no such thing.
I plead the fifth.
Legally speaking. Officially. Yeah.
Right. So that's all with that. That's the deal with this guy. So, is there anything else that we should be bringing up before? It's been about 40 minutes. Is there anything else we should be bringing up?
We can take some more questions.
All right. If anyone has any questions, we can take some for about 5 minutes, and then we'll have to be wrapping up.
Yeah, let's see what questions we have.
Even if the game doesn't become a hit and stays as a cult sort of among channers, would you still be satisfied by your work out of passion? Yes. There's not really. I don't think there's any longer way I can say it. I can just say, yeah, I appreciate that.
I think it'd be kind of cool to be a cult classic. I like a lot of cult classics. If anyone has played Lisa the Painful, achieving cult status like that would be pretty cool. I wouldn't complain. Or Yick. I would like to get Yick status as well, but I think we're we're not that talented.
I'm sorry. Every time it gets brought up, I just can't help laughing.
Yeah.
Yes, if we achieve Yick status, I would consider that a goal achieved.
Yeah, that's a win.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Were able to get a lot done. Every time someone mentions Yick, game dev cries. Tears of joy, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How much will Tulip's character be expanded upon? She's since she's the main shopkeep and the way that the game works, it is only fair to. She doesn't have an extremely major role within the game, but she is an excellent character to have around. Trying to think about how else I can say it without giving too much away. Also, that is. Hang on, no, I can't say that.
Well, while he ponders on that,
Yeah.
favorite characters to play as in Exit 665. It's like we've said in the past, each character stands out. It's a point. It's a very big thing to make each character as unique and separate from each other to stand out, but also that they synergize well with each other. So I wouldn't say it's I like a single character. I like certain combinations of characters. Like one of my favorites so far, just what we have written on paper. One of my favorites is going to be Morgan and Honda of all things,
Yeah.
because they're going to be a very interesting and powerful combo right there if you know what you're doing with them. Same
And it
goes
should.
for
No, go ahead.
yeah, no, same goes for like Forelli and a certain other party member.
So Sly is wrong. The answer is Stin. Stin is going to be the most fun.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's true.
Yeah. Someone asked how programming is going, or how's coding been. It's a very vague question. What aspect? Because the answer always with coding is frustrating and rewarding. Ask more specific questions.
Aw.
not to call you out, but like someone's got to say it.
Okay. Will we give our devs some downtime after release, or throw them right at the next thing?
After release of what the Lyra game or the demo. Generally speaking, after every major release, I tend to say, okay, everyone take a little bit of time off. I usually don't. I guess I'm a bit of a workaholic. But I usually tell everyone, okay, take some time. Let me know when you're ready to get back into it.
That is actually a worry that we have. The idea of like any one of the team just burning out because of work. So
taking care of that.
We try to be mindful of that.
We do actually have extra plans. We're thinking very far ahead for what's going to happen after Exit and Wani already as well. In the very early planning phases for what we should be doing after that.
Oh yeah, that. Very early.
Very. It's mostly just fun conversation, but it's just a fun little thing to be thinking of. All right. If we have no other questions or whatnot, we should start wrapping up.
I guess any final questions? Just in case anyone has anything cool they want to say.
Nate game. No, the idea of a Liz game.
Liz spinoff.
Oh, any art tips?
Flip the canvas frequently. There's a good one. Lets you cheat. All right. Yeah, hold your pin really hard. There's someone else's tip. Hold your pin harder. The harder you hold it, the better your art is. All right, so that should do it for now. We will be posting the slides from earlier to our social media shortly, and we will also have a few other goodies as well soon. So we should all start signing off. I'm Nerd. See you guys later.
I am Heartsick. I'll see you guys later.
Goodbye, chat. This was Michael.
I'm Sly. It was nice talking with you guys.
Yes, thank you everybody for making it out here. Obviously, continued community support is probably the best thing we can get right now, so appreciate everybody who tuned in.
All right, and that'll do it. All right, person streaming, go ahead and count us down. All right.
Is it over?